What's up, guys? UFC 267 just wrapped up. I'm at the Hilton in Abu Dhabi, right across the street from the Etihad Arena, which is a beautiful arena. And because it's so close, everybody's in the lobby. So at this point, we're going downstairs. I'm walking across through the restaurant to the other elevator, upstairs to my room because it is madness, but everybody's there. Hasbullah, Abdu, we have Amir Khan, you have princes, and everybody else just hanging out, taking in the environment of what was such a great event, UFC 267. You know, you have these fight cards, especially in Abu Dhabi, which has taken such an interest in mixed martial arts and the business partnership with the UFC, that you want to bring great cards. And I'm telling you, tonight was a fantastic card. And when you talk about UFC 267, it starts and it ends with the new light heavyweight champion of the world, Glover Teixeira. You know, the overwhelming sentiment was that Glover Teixeira was going to get knocked out. From experts to casual fans to just random people that you asked about the fight. For my cousins, everybody thought that Glover wasn't going to win. They thought that he was going to get rocked by Jan Blachowicz, because why not? Look at what Jan Blachowicz has done to Corey Anderson, to Dominic Reyes. Look at how he beat Israel Adesanya. It looked like Glover was up against it. But one person had a different idea on his mind, and that was Glover Teixeira. You know, I saw Glover in the hotel this morning, and we were walking, and I was like, he said, Cormier, because he always calls me my last name for some reason. But he goes, Cormier. He goes, tonight, I'm ready. I said, Glover, I said, I'll interview you like this. He goes, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it right now. Let's wait until tonight to do it in the octagon. And I said, okay, well, good luck, my friend, because Glover, if you know him, you know he's the nicest person walking God's green earth. I mean, the guy is obviously persistent. He's technical. He's skilled. But he is easily one of the nicest, easiest people on the roster to truly support and just really like. He's just a nice guy. And even though he's a nice guy, he's an absolute killer. And tonight he was able to implement his game plan perfectly against Jan Blachowicz. He was able to go forward in the first round, get on his patented high crotch, got to the double leg. When Glover gets to the double leg, he locks his hands immediately. Now, one thing a lot of fighters don't do is they don't swing you off of the octagon side. Glover did that. So when Paul Felder and I were talking about the fight, Paul goes, what's good for Glover is that he's right in the center. Well, this is why. Glover took the double, he swings you, and then he turns you to get your back away from the octagon side, so then the cage doesn't become a barrier for you to use to walk back up to your feet. That was fantastic. That was step one. Getting the takedown early was very important against a striker like Jan Blachowicz. After round one, Jan was okay. Jan was like, hey, that's 1-0 you, because he figured he would make some changes. Now, in round two, Blachowicz had more success. He was able to stay standing longer. He defended a lot of takedowns, but then he made a mistake. He made an absolute mistake. Glover was in on the shot. He started to try to attack a Kimura. When he did that, Teixeira sat him down. And if you know Glover Teixeira, I've seen him do it against Kutalaba. I've seen him do it against, I can't remember the kid's name, that is now fighting at 185. Very tough guy, Canadian kid. Misha Serkinov hurt Glover. We saw it against Thiago. You hurt Glover Teixeira, but if he gets you on the ground, his weight, the way he manages and maneuvers his weight, it's so heavy that these guys just kind of melt under him. So he gets Jan, and he takes him down that second time. He takes the high crotch, sets him to his butt, immediately moved to the mount. Once he got to the mount, started dropping. Jan gives his back. Over. Teixeira rear naked choke. Now, I'm sitting next to the octagon. The crowd's going absolutely crazy. I look over to Felder. Dude's got tears. Both of us have tears in our eyes. You'll see the video of Paul and I responding and reacting. And it's not that we don't root for Jan. It's just that when you have a guy like Glover who's been there for 20 years, who has had the ups and the downs. I remember when I was the champion, there was 2 times where he was in #1 contenders fights and lost. And in those losses, it did not allow for him to get those chances to earn that championship. But he does it at 42. So that's the reaction. But it wasn't just us, it was the entire arena. They had no dog in the race. They had no horse in the race. But they were happy because they saw a man accomplish a lifetime goal. it was truly fantastic. And when I walked in there, his coaches, just John Hackelman was standing by the octagon and gave me a big old hug as I was entering into the octagon, because it was just a relief. He was brought in as Chuck Liddell's training partner. Now he gets to call himself the champ, just as Chuck Liddell was back in the day. So massive for Glover, massive for Danbury, Connecticut, where he lives right now. He said his entire academy was watching. I've got a friend named Tiago from New York, Brazilian guy, texted me and said, D, this is just amazing. Like, he inspired not only the people in the area that he touches, but his home country. They are watching him. They take pride in what he had just done. Truly, truly amazing to see Glover finally get that belt wrapped around his waist. So congratulations to the champ. It was your night, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do next, because it did not sound at all like you were ready to walk away from the game. As he was walking back to the back, I could see his lip quivering. Let it go, big man. Let those tears fly. You have earned them. Expectations, tears, all those things are earned. And all your tears, all your expectation, all your success has been earned in a 20-year mixed martial arts career, where you reached the absolute pinnacle at 42 years old, now becoming the second oldest light heavyweight champion. Second oldest champion in UFC history, regardless. Only Randy Couture stands above you, and I'm number 3. Look, I don't care about losing titles to a guy like Glover Teixeira. Congratulations to the champ. Now we get to the co-main event. This one was tremendous. This one was crazy. Corey Sandhagen came in with a masterful game plan. He gave a lot of angles. He showed Piotr Jan a lot of different things over the course of 25 minutes. Now, a lot of people start very well against Piotr Jan, because Piotr Jan's a bit of a slow starter, because he likes to gather his information before he builds his plan. It's like he's a businessman. He takes his businessman, builds the plan before he goes out and starts the business. He did that against Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen, across the board, won round 1. Round 2, Corey Sandhagen was doing really well. And then Piotr got better as the round went on. Round 3 looked like Piotr Jan's round. He hurt Corey Sandhagen in that round. Round 4 and round 5, dude just showed that he's a machine. His manager, Danny Rubenstein, along with Sayat, told me, I said, he's really good. He goes, I told you from the moment I signed him that we signed him, he would be the UFC champion. I find it very difficult to put anyone above him. I know people say Aljamain was fake, and Piotr Jan made a mistake. Aljamain did not create that situation. He only reacted in the way that he did. But Piotr Jan tonight showed why he is the #1 bantamweight in the world, because he fought the absolute best Corey Sandhagen. Corey never gave up on himself. Corey never stopped fighting. Corey never stopped trying to grab that interim championship. But Piotr Jan was not going to allow for him to come into Abu Dhabi and win this. His boxing combinations, his kicks, his durability, his ability to really just make adjustments on the fly. There aren't many people, Alexander Volkanovski maybe. Volkanovski does a great job of doing that like him. That's the only 2 I can think of that can go into a fight with a game plan. If things start to go awry, they just really change and change and change and change. There are so many different things on the board that they're just picking topics, okay? They're just picking approaches. Okay, my leg kick ain't working. Let's go to the body. Okay, my boxing is a little bit behind. I'm going to throw kicks. My kicks are behind. Let's use the boxing. Let's go wrestle like he did against Aljamain Sterling. He's got a full tool shed at his disposal, and he uses it, and that's what allows him to win these fights in the way that he did, because he beat Corey Sandhagen. The best Corey Sandhagen, 49-46 on 2 cards. Now, Aljamain said that he has earned this ass whipping the second time. I don't know how, after watching that, you could be confident in looking forward to sharing an octagon with Piotr Jan. And you saw his family there, his wife, his son. Just a big moment. 200 people flew here to watch Piotr Jan fight. The guy is an absolute savage, an absolute stud. But Corey Sandhagen should not hang his head. He got this fight on short notice because Aljo couldn't fight. He made a great accounting for himself. He should not be ashamed of what he accomplished out there tonight. When I spoke to him in the octagon, I asked him, did you think you did enough to win the decision? He goes, no. Completely honest, upstanding, stood there, gave Piotr credit, and said, I'll be back. He wants to fight the best in the world. Love that. Love that. Petr Yan, all respect. Heard Dana White afterwards at the press conference, said it's going to be Petr and Aljo for the championship. I think it's a bit of mind games for Petr Yan saying he wants to fight Dillashaw opposed to Aljamain. Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan 2 should be the fight that we make, and I think we're going to see that very soon. Third from the top, Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. You know, when I was talking to Islam the other day, me and Khabib were talking to him before we started the interview. And we were on him about having to make a statement, but also give a little something extra. Because you can win fights all you want, but you got to have that thing over the top, especially if you're going to jump a guy like Justin Gaethje, who I have said publicly on many occasions should have been in the title fight when Charles Oliveira fought Michael Chandler. I thought Gaethje should have had that fight. I thought Gaethje just recently losing to Khabib really did hurt him. That's why he wasn't in there with Oliveira in Houston. If he had not fought Khabib recently, he would have been in there fighting for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. He fights next week against Michael Chandler. And I still believe with an impressive performance, he will fight for the belt next. But if he doesn't, if he leaves anything to be desired, which I don't think he will, because he's the human highlight, he's fun, you may see Islam Makhachev fighting for the championship, the winner of Oliveira versus Poirier. Herein lies the problem. Makhachev gets that belt, now it's a real issue. Because he's just like Khabib. You know what he's going to do. Dan Hooker knew that Islam Makhachev was going to try to take him down and submit him. He went in there, did exactly that. And in those conversations before, Khabib said, brother, this situation is just like me in New York. When the UFC was going to have their first event in New York State, I said, put me on there with somebody. He goes, they gave me Michael Johnson. I thought it could have been somebody better. But whatever, he had just knocked out Dustin Poirier, so I took him. He goes, I spoke to Dana, and then I submitted him. Guys, I think Islam used the same submission in Abu Dhabi tonight to submit Dan Hooker. At the time, Khabib was 5. Islam was 6. I'm sorry, Khabib was 5. Michael was 6. Islam's 5. Hooker's 6. Khabib thought that this was his moment to recreate Madison Square. That's exactly what he did. We've seen Dan Hooker go to war with Dustin Poirier, Paul Felder, and so many others. Dan Hooker is a fantastic fighter. But he looked like he was outmatched by Islam. He took his mouthpiece out afterwards and just threw it at the side of the octagon because he just knew. He knew what was coming, but he could not stop it. That's the problem when it comes to Makhachev. He feels like he's ready for a title fight. He said he's more realistic. That's why he hasn't been beating the drum before. But I think when the rankings are let out next week, you'll see him jump higher, and he will truly be in the conversation. He's as talented as anybody is in this weight class, and he is an absolute problem for all these guys at 155 pounds. The dude is the real deal, and I am excited to see what happens. It's the first year that we haven't had a champion at AKA for 10 years. So Islam's the next guy that could provide that championship for Javier Mendez and the crew at the American Kickboxing Academy. Also, Eagles MMA in Dagestan. Lastly, Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, what more can I say about this guy? What more can I say about Khamzat Chimaev? You know, his energy seemed a little bit scattered when he got in there. He's jumping around, he's bouncing. He looked so happy to be back. And I know he went through a lot of things health-wise, but he was like, it was almost like he was putting on. You guys remember when Brock Lesnar fought Alistair Overeem? He's rapping and shit. Brock's rapping. Like, Brock, what are you doing? And Brock's like, you knew something was up. You knew there was a lot of nervous energy in Brock Lesnar. Looked the same way for Khamzat Chimaev. It really didn't matter. It really did not matter. Khamzat Chimaev goes out there. He takes Li Jingliang down, and I mean literally toys with him. He carried him to the side of the octagon to Dana White, where, and I'm trying to pull up this stat here, because I know that only one significant strike has been landed against Khamzat Chimaev, but ESPN MMA put something else up there before. 2. Sorry, I misspoke. 2. Khamzat Chimaev has outlanded his opponents 254 to 2 in 4 UFC appearances. It is unheard of what this man is doing. I asked Andreas Michael, I said, hey, how good can this kid be? Because he's seen some good ones. Gustafson's going through there. Manawa's going through there. Ilir's going through there, among many other people. He goes, Daniel, he can be the absolute best. I'm not judging him against my other guys. He can be the best in the world. He goes, the kid has it. He's so powerful. He's so skilled. He's so good at fighting that I don't know if these guys his weight can go with him. He said he trains with 205-pounders because they're the only ones that can truly handle the intensity that Khamzat Chimaev brings to the octagon in practice. Lee thinks they're going to strike, level change, takedown, lifts him up, walks him over to Dana because he said Dana was on his phone and told Dana to pay attention, and then he threw him down. And from that point, it was just transition to ground and pound, transition to ground and pound, to going, taking the choke, choking Lee out, and putting him to sleep. I walk in the octagon, I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Khamzat Chimaev. He goes, brother, of course you're here with me. What did you think, I wasn't going to win? Says he wants to smash and kill everybody. The guy's different up here, but when you have that skill set to back up all the talk, you really are a problem. And I'm telling you, there is no one waiting and saying, hey, I want Khamzat right now. People aren't raising their hands saying they want to fight Chimaev. I'm not over here grandstanding saying he's the greatest fighter in welterweight. I'm not saying that. But watching what I have seen now at 185 and at 170, he is a real problem. And he is a matchup nightmare for these guys. Now, there's a lot of questions out there when he gets challenged because ultimately he will. Somebody's going to be able to withstand the onslaught. Somebody's going to survive. And honestly, it may be good for Khamzat to have someone survive before he finds himself in the title fight with 5 rounds to prepare for, with no experience fighting past 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I wonder who it'll be next for Chimaev because I truly believe that when the rankings come out next week, he will have a number next to his name as one of the top 15 guys in the world, and I don't see why they wouldn't. Someone told me he called out Usman in the back. I don't know if Usman's the fight right now, but with that skill set, you don't know what the UFC will do with Chimaev. He also called out Diaz. He called out Masvidal. These guys, they have good styles for Khamzat Chimaev if he's able to work his way into those fights. A lot of great performances tonight. Michal Oleksiejczuk with a fantastic performance. We had Amanda Ribas showed another level of who she is tonight against Vina Jandiroba, who came out to Island Boy. And so now she gets her picture in Ariel's studio. Ariel, put her picture in your studio, dude. Do the right thing, because she came out to that silly-ass song that was terrible, and she danced to it the entire way. Magomed Ankalaev, 205-pounders, be aware. You've got some really good young guys in there. Ankalaev's good. Yuri Prochazka, who it seems to be the #1 contender and the guy that will fly Glover Teixeira next. Every time, things just reset. And right now, it's a massive reset in the UFC for a couple weight classes, especially 205 pounds, where Prochazka, Teixeira, Ankalaev, and all these other guys reign at the top. Great night from Abu Dhabi. Tomorrow, I take off to New York City, and I'm there for a week getting ready for UFC 268. Another massive fight card. We got Usman Covington 2. I think that is the best welterweight fight that can be made right now. We got Namajunas versus Weili 2, which is going to be insane. Also, an absolute barn burner between Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. It's going to be fantastic from the Garden. I can't wait to get on the plane and head back. We got 17 hours before we get to New York. I'm going to get some good rest, catch up on the sleep that I haven't gotten this whole time I've been in Abu Dhabi. Beautiful place. Time change will eat you alive if you're not careful and you don't have time to adjust and acclimate. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Thank you guys so much for supporting the YouTube page. This is growing at a rate that I never could have imagined. I love every one of you. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as you listen to this video, because I need each and every one of you, just like I've needed each and every one of you over the course of my career. So guys, that'll be me out from UFC 267 in Abu Dhabi. I'll see you next week in New York City. Right after the fights, I'll be dropping another one of these, breaking down UFC 268 from right next to the octagon, because you'll get a lot of different breakdowns of the fights, but you'll get mine that happened from right next to the octagon, and you don't get that anywhere else. Hey, subscribe. Make sure you do it. Become a member, and you'll get every one of my videos. It was a great night in Abu Dhabi. My goodness. So much fun. I met Hasbullah. I actually met Hasbullah. He was so cool. The dude punched me. He actually punched me in the face. He did. You know, you would think that it's like a gimmick. They tell you. No. I was talking about him. I was talking to him. His eyes kind of squinted, and he punched me in the face. My jaw hurt all night long. It was killing me. So, guys, again, thank you for support, and I'll see you guys in New York City. Peace.